Struggling to get the results you want from AI? What if you could fine-tune your questions to get a perfect response every time? In this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 advanced prompting techniques that will entirely change the way you interact with AI, helping you turn general questions into clear, actionable answers. Welcome to DayTech, where we make AI accessible for everyone. If you're looking to harness the power of AI in your daily life, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, grab the guide in the description box below so you can follow along with today's tutorial. In the guide, you'll be able to find all the prompt templates and starters, along with examples mentioned in this video. Before we dive into today's advanced prompting techniques, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the previous videos in this series on the basics of prompt engineering and simple prompt techniques. Watching those first will give you the solid foundation you need to get the most out of today's content. Alright, now let's dive straight into the video. Our first prompting technique will be short prompting. Short prompting comes in 3 variations: 0 shot, 1 shot, and few shot. Here's the prompt formula. For 0 shot, there's no previous data or guidelines given before completing a request. For 1 shot, 1 piece of data or guideline is given before completing a request. And for few shot, multiple pieces of data or guidelines are given before completing a request. Let's start off by using the 0 shot prompting. Write a blog post introducing a new smartphone to my tech website. ChatGPT will generate an entire piece of content for your tech website, but you can see that it's very general. An example of a one-shot prompting might look like, using this blog post on the iPhone 16 as a reference, write a blog post introducing the new smartphone to my tech website. Immediately, the content is a lot more specific to the context of iPhone 16 for this new blog post. Now let's try the few shot prompting. Using this blog post on iPhone 16, Samsung Galaxy S24, and Pixel 9 as references, write a 500-word blog post introducing the new smartphone to my tech website. Start with a brief overview and include comparisons to its competitors. Feel free to insert the exact blog post for reference, and you see that ChatGPT will be able to generate a content that is a lot more specific to the context of the 3 phones that you stated, and it is also able to draw comparisons between the 3 different devices. So with the few shot prompting, you can see that the result is a lot more focused compared to the 0 shot prompting. Let's move on to our second prompting technique, chain of thought prompting. This framework is a technique to guide ChatGPT to explain its answers in a step-by-step format of its reasoning process. This technique helps ensure that the model's answers are transparent and easy to understand, making its explanations more useful for educational or explanatory purposes. The prompt formula for this one is easy. Simply add "let's think step by step" after your question. So without using the chain of thought prompting, an example might look like, how does photosynthesis work? You see that ChatGPT will explain photosynthesis in a very general way. With the chain of thought prompting, we'll add 1 more sentence behind your question, which is, let's break it down step by step. Immediately, it's able to list down the exact steps to how it eventually gets to the result. And in each of the steps, it will explain where it happens, what happens, more details that you should know before reaching the final result. You can follow the thought process of AI as you try to understand a complex concept. This is really useful for educational purpose, so do try it out. The third prompting technique will be tabular format prompting, which is also one of my favorites. This technique is great for organizing information in a clear and structured way. By asking the AI to present its response in a table, you can break down complex data into easily digestible chunks, making it much simpler to compare and analyze. Here's how the prompt formula might look like. You first ask a question, then ask ChatGPT to break down the answer into categories with more detailed explanation, and finally, organizes the answer into a table format. This prompting technique is so useful. I used it in my previous videos on how to use AI to plan your week and your perfect trip. Check out the videos here or in the description down below. Let's look at an example for tabular format prompting. Can you list the top 5 must-visit cities in Europe for culture and history? ChatGPT will list down the different countries like Italy, France, Greece. If let's say now we ask ChatGPT, what categories can you break the answer into for more detailed explanations, and to create a table that organizes your original answer into this category separated by column. You see that ChatGPT will give a table summarizing the different city, the overview, historical highlights, cultural significance, and the must-see landmark. It's a lot easier to understand when the information is categorized into a a table form rather than in paragraphs. Next up, we have the ask before answer prompting. This framework is a technique to guide ChatGPT to ask for clarification before giving an answer. This helps ensure that the model's answers are as accurate and specific as possible. Here's the prompt formula. You are an expert in a certain industry. I'm going to ask you to complete a specific task, but before you respond, I'll let you to do the following. If you have any doubts or need further details to provide the best answer, please ask for clarification in bullet points before proceeding. Is that clear? Great, here's my question. Insert your question here. Your assignment is to feel free to ask any follow-up questions to refine the prompt before you begin working on the task. I use this prompting technique in my video on how to use AI to plan your personal finances. You can check out the video here on top or down in the description. An example for the ask before answer prompting might look like, how can I improve my time management for a busy work schedule? So this is without the ask before answer prompting, and you can see that the answers given are very generic. It lacks certain kind of structure and personalization. Whereas now I'm going to ask ChatGPT to act as an expert in time management. I'm going to ask you to complete a specific task, but before you respond, I'll let you to do the following. If you have any doubts or need further details to provide the best answer, please ask for clarification in bullet points before proceeding. Is that clear? Once ChatGPT confirms that it's clear, now you can input your question here. How can I improve my time management for a busy work schedule? The task is to design a daily routine that I can follow. Please ask any questions you have to make sure I'm getting the most effective plan. With this prompt, ChatGPT will return a list of questions to try to understand you before even trying to generate any results for you. So some of the questions that you will ask include, what's your main work responsibilities? What's the typical workday duration? How much flexibility, your energy level, how much time you want to allocate for which activities, your other commitments, and how do you currently manage your time? You just reply the bullet points with your own personal information. And now ChatGPT is able to generate a proposed daily routine, customized, personalized for your needs and based on your daily routine, which is really great compared to the previous one that is very general and not really very usable. And now that you have all this planned, you can even use the previous prompting technique to ask ChatGPT to organize the answer into categories and to create a table. Feel free to mix and match the different prompting techniques to get the best results for yourself. Next, we have the fill in the blank prompting. This format allows the user to focus on the specific aspects of a sentence or idea and encourages deeper thinking. Also, it is a flexible tool for learning and communication, which can be easily adapted to different situations. So, here's the prompt formula. You are a pro at crafting prompts that generate clear, actionable responses. What additional details can I add to this prompt to improve the quality of the output? Here's my prompt. Excellent! Now transform these details into a fill-in-the-blank format that I can use by inserting my specific information. A normal prompt without the fill-in-the-blank technique may look something like, how do I build a team of highly skilled graphic designers for my growing marketing agency? This is the result that ChatGPT will generate. Again, very general, can be applied to a very general case. Now let's tell ChatGPT that you're a pro at crafting prompts that generate clear, actionable responses. What additional details can I add to this prompt to improve the quality of output? And here's my prompt. And you paste the same exact questions that you just gave to ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give a few suggestions on how to improve the quality of the output. They give a few suggestions, and once you read through this, you can continue to prompt ChatGPT to transform these details into a fill-in-the-blank format that you can use by inserting your specific information. And this is the prompt template that ChatGPT will generate for you, and even provide an exact example of a completed template that you can use. So depending on your needs, you can feel free to insert your own project information and your own goals here, and ChatGPT will be able to generate your desired output for you. This is really cool because you are kind of asking ChatGPT to generate its own prompt template to answer itself. Next up, perspective prompting. This framework can broaden your understanding and provide a more comprehensive view of the topic at hand. This can help you make more informed decisions and have a more nuanced understanding of complex issues. There's two prompt formula for perspective prompting. First is a singular perspective, and second is multiple perspectives. For singular perspective, you can ask ChatGPT to write about a certain topic from the viewpoint of a specific role or perspective. As for multiple perspectives, write an argument on a certain topic from various viewpoints. Include the names and perspectives of different individuals, such as list down the different viewpoints here. When using a singular perspective, it may look something like, please write about how to improve public speaking skills from the perspective of a speech coach. So ChatGPT will generate based on the perspective of a speech coach specifically. Whereas, let's say now I want to ask ChatGPT to write about how to improve public speaking skills from the perspective of a psychologist. And you see that the points mentioned by ChatGPT are a lot different from the previous results. This time around, it focused more on dealing with anxiety, building self-confidence, shifting focus from yourself to the audience, which is quite different depending on the perspective that you are using. An example for a multiple perspective is, please write an argument in favor of renewable energy, considering perspectives from an environmental scientist, a politician, and a business owner. ChatGPT can break it down into different perspectives. From this part talking about environmental scientist perspective, and then you have the politician's perspective here, and the business owner's perspective. Depending on what's the role that ChatGPT is acting as, it will generate a very different reasoning, different points, and different concepts. And this technique will really help you understand a concept in a more well-rounded way. Next, we have constructive critique prompting. This prompt can provide objective and expert feedback on your writing, highlighting areas for improvement and offering constructive criticism to help you refine and enhance your copy. Here's the prompt formula. I want you to act as a critic and expert in review my content below, explain why it might not be effective, and provide constructive feedback on how it can be improved. For context, my product is designed for. The goal of my product is to. Let's break this down step by step, addressing each part of the content. Here's my content to critique. With this type of constructive critique prompting, you'll see an immediate drastic change in the quality of the response you get from ChatGPT. Let's take a look at an example. Without this prompting technique, you might say something like, comment on my content. ChatGPT will complement the content and try to give a little bit of refinement to the content that you've just provided. Whereas now, let's try to use the constructive critique prompting. I want you to act as an expert and critique in the field of digital design. Review my landing page content below, explain why it might not be performing well, and provide actionable tips for improvement. For context, my service is a project management software designed for small business owners. The goal of my landing page is to drive signups. Let's break it down and evaluate each section. Here's my content to critique. And you paste the same exact content that you just gave to ChatGPT. You see that ChatGPT now will generate concrete suggestions to how you can improve your content based on different types of content. For example, the headline, and then you have the sub-headlines, and there's a call to action part. There's also testimonials and what are the actionable steps that you can take, the visual elements, and overall experience. So you see that now it's able to generate a lot more specific reviews about your content. So this is really useful. Now let's move on to comparative prompting. Comparative prompting highlights key similarities and differences across various factors, which help you make more informed decisions and gain a deeper understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of two options. The prompt formula may look something like this. Please compare and contrast the following two pieces of content. Organize the similarities, differences, qualitative traits, quantitative aspects, functionality, impact, key takeaways, and any other relevant factors into a table format. Here are the two pieces of content. Without using this technique might look like, compare the user interface design of Android versus iOS. ChatGPT would try to compare Android and iOS, but again, the content may be a lot more general, very broad, might be less useful if you're looking for more specific comparisons. Whereas, let's try to use the comparative prompting. Please compare and contrast the following two pieces of content. Organize the similarities, differences, qualitative traits, quantitative aspect, functionality, impact, key takeaways, and any other relevant factors into a table format. Here are the two pieces of content. And you see that now ChatGPT is able to generate a lot more focused comparison between these two content, specifically in the category of design philosophy, navigation, customization, typography and icons, and so on and so forth. So with this comparative prompting, you can get a really precise comparison between two different kinds of content, and you can even be more specific about the categories that you want to compare. And finally, we have reverse prompting. This technique offers incredible insights into how to effectively reverse engineer any piece of content. As a result, this presents endless possibilities for enhancing both personal and professional projects. For the prompt formula, I will give you two options. Option 1, you're an expert in prompt engineering and can reverse engineer prompts based on the provided piece of content. I'm going to give you: please provide a detailed prompt suggestion based on its tone, style, language, syntax, and any other factors you consider important. The goal is to create a prompt that, when used in ChatGPT, will replicate the style of the provided content. Please confirm with understood if this makes sense. If not, feel free to ask questions for clarification. The content I would like to reverse engineer is: for the second option, it may look something like, let's explore reverse prompt engineering, which means crafting a prompt based on a given piece of text. Can you provide a basic example of reverse prompt engineering? Now, could you create a detailed reverse prompt engineering template? Finally, reverse engineer the following: paying attention to the tone, language, syntax, and writing style to ensure the prompt captures its essence.
Let's look at an example for reverse prompting. You're an expert in prompt engineering and can reverse engineer prompts based on the provided piece of content. I'm going to give you an advertisement content. Please provide a detailed prompt suggestion based on its tone, style, language, syntax, and any other factors you consider important. The goal is to create a prompt that, when used in ChatGPT, will replicate the style of the provided content. Please confirm with understood if this makes sense. If not, feel free to ask questions for clarification.
Once ChatGPT confirms that it understood, you can go ahead and say, the content I would like you to reverse engineer is, and pasting the content. ChatGPT will give a prompt suggestion based on the tone, style, and language of the provided advertisement. And now you see that it's able to return you the exact prompts that you can use to generate the same kind of content that you just gave to ChatGPT. And with this prompt template, you can now use it on any other product. Like for example, in this case, I want to write an advertisement content for a sports shirts product, and I use the same exact prompt template from here. ChatGPT will give me a product description that is in the style of the previous content I just gave to it. You can see that it highlights the different, ultimate comfort, and there's legendary technology in the tone and style of what was previously given here. This method ensures that AI responses remain aligned with the desired message, voice, and functionality, offering a valuable tool for consistent, high-quality outputs across various applications, whether for marketing, product descriptions, or creative writing. And that's all on the 9 advanced prompting techniques that will completely change the way you interact with AI. These techniques are designed to take your AI responses to the next level, making them more precise, actionable, and tailored to your needs. If you have found these techniques useful, please like the video and hit that subscribe button so you are the first to know when the next video is out. And as always, leave a comment below with any thoughts or questions you have. I'd love to hear how you are using these techniques in your own daily life. If you like this video, you're going to love what's coming next. In the next video, we'll dive into general prompt frameworks for all use cases. Yes, a simple prompt framework that you can use in virtually any situation. I'll introduce RGC prompting, and I want you to act as prompting, 2 incredibly powerful techniques you can apply in any scenarios. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!